course there are lazy people who use marijuana, just as there are lazy people who eat a lot of food or watch a lot of television. But consider a recent study that says nearly 100 million Americans have used or tried marijuana. If marijuana really leads to amotivational syndrome, where is the epidemic of American laziness? Hi, I'm Nadia Swaby with the Marijuana Policy Project. This is Marijuana 2-Minute Truths. Today's question comes to us from Chris, who asks about marijuana's effect on brain performance. Reefer madness propaganda would have you believe that marijuana causes brain damage. But once again, concrete science disproves this. The Institute of Medicine published this conclusion in 1999. Earlier studies purporting to show structural changes in the brains of heavy marijuana users have not been replicated with more sophisticated techniques. A 2006 study published in Harm Reduction Journal reported that with regard to marijuana use, no pattern consistent with evidence of cerebral atrophy or loss of white matter integrity was detected. It is concluded that frequent cannabis use is unlikely to be neurotoxic to the normal developing adolescent brain. That said, one of the more lasting myths about marijuana is that it leads to anti-motivational or amotivational syndrome. You're probably familiar with the stereotype, the lazy abuser half asleep on his couch. In his book, Understanding Marijuana, Dr. Mitch Earlywine explained, laboratory studies of humans and primates show little support for amotivational syndrome. School performance does not vary with cannabis consumption in college students. No studies show the pervasive lethargy, dysphoria, and apathy that initial reports suggested should appear in all heavy users. Today we're going to talk about money. Lots and lots of money.
Show me the money!
And its relation to America's #1 cash crop, marijuana. According to Dr. Jeffrey Myron, a professor of economics at Harvard, replacing marijuana prohibition with a system of taxation and regulation similar to that used for alcoholic beverages would produce combined savings and tax revenues of between $10 billion and $14 billion per year. In fact, another economist, John Getman, who specializes in economic development, estimates that marijuana prohibition costs the government over $40 billion a year. The true amount of lost revenue is practically impossible to calculate, but because marijuana is illegal, every penny generated by marijuana is lost to the criminal market. Think about it. That's at least $10 billion the government is missing out on. $10 billion in this economy? What would you do with $10 billion? To put this in perspective, consider that NASA has a budget in 2008 of just $16 billion. Imagine how useful $10 billion would be in solving the energy crisis or combating disease and world hunger. Imagine what $10 billion could do to jumpstart wind and solar energy programs. This has been your Marijuana 2-Minute Truth. Marijuana might be cheap on the street corner, but the war on marijuana users costs the USA over $10 billion a year. We've received lots of emails from viewers who want to know about the long-term health effects of marijuana, particularly what, if any, damage smoking marijuana causes to your lungs. Your lungs bring essential oxygen into your body, so of course hurting your lungs is a terrible idea. Did you know, for instance, that nearly 500,000 Americans die every year from tobacco-related lung disorders? If you've been paying attention, you probably did. But do you know how many people have ever died from marijuana-related cancer? 0. No one. Marijuana has never been shown to cause cancer in humans, and the largest, most definitive epidemiological studies have failed to find an association between marijuana use and lung cancer, or any other kind of cancer typically linked with smoking cigarettes. In 2006, Dr. Donald Tashkin of UCLA published what is perhaps the most famous of the marijuana lung cancer studies. The study of 2,200 people in Los Angeles found that even heavy marijuana smokers were no more likely to develop lung cancer than non-users, in contrast with tobacco users whose risk increases the more they smoke. Interestingly, this study was funded by the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Dr. Tashkin was later quoted in the Washington Post. We hypothesized that there would be a positive association between marijuana use and lung cancer, and that the association would be more positive with heavier use. What we found instead was no association at all, and even a suggestion of some protective effect. In fact, some scientific studies have shown a trend toward lower lung cancer rates among marijuana smokers than non-smokers, suggesting that marijuana's active components, cannabinoids, have anti-tumor properties. Take a look at these findings. Cannabinoids are selective anti-tumor compounds, as they can kill tumor cells without affecting their non-transformed counterparts. A strong and statistically significant anti-tumor effect was observed, in particular for a highly malignant human breast carcinoma cell line. Cannabidiol and cannabidiol-rich extract counteract tumor cell growth. This should not be taken to mean marijuana is good for you. No one is saying that. But how can marijuana be illegal when it has never been proven to have killed a single person through overdose or illness in 5,000 years of recorded history, while in the next hour, approximately 50 Americans will die from a tobacco-related illness? This has been your 2-Minute Truth. Marijuana has not been shown to cause lung cancer, but cannabinoids may help fight cancer.